to another issue of Schrand Team Connections. I'm really looking forward to this interview today. We have a good friend of mine, Roseanne Moore. Roseanne is a member of my church, but she's also the director of City of Refuge. And welcome, Roseanne.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. Tell us, what is City of Refuge?
Okay, well, City of Refuge, it's a nonprofit ministry that our focus is on recovery. One of our mottos is set free from any hurt, habit, or hang-up. And the reason is, in our society today, there's a lot of alcohol and drug awareness, and that certainly is a problem. But there are other ramifications to family members and employers and surrounding concerns in the community. So we try to tackle any hurt, habit, or hang-up, but that's revolved around recovery.
Roseanne, can you tell us, how did you happen to get involved, or what prompted you to get involved with the City of Refuge?
Well, getting involved with City of Refuge has a much bigger and longer picture. As a teenager, being raised in a good family, life still hands us stressors and problems, and there was a point that as a young woman I became suicidal, and I was anorexic bulimic and had a lot of different struggles I had to work through. And through my faith and people reaching out and helping me and learning how to apply the things that will really change your life, I had a desire to turn around and help others. And I just found City of Refuge a great way to give back to the community and to others. I'm thankful for people that have helped me, and I want to be a hand that reaches out to others as well.
Well, Roseanne, City of Refuge in Cincinnati or in Heuven was not the first City of Refuge. There was another one that this grew out of. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, right, absolutely. City of Refuge actually began 17 years ago. Our Pastor Doug Combs, he has a best friend in Atlanta who started City of Refuge, actually went down there to close a church and found that the needs of the local drug addicts and prostitution and everything else like that goes along with that was in need, and they began coming to his church, and what got birthed out of that was recovery centers, which provided housing, food, clothing, education, and all the things it really takes to make life work. And so Pastor Doug had been wanting to do this, and unbeknownst to him and me, I was already thinking all of this through in my own way of having a coffee shop that would be a place for people to come in, but would also be a place for ministry to take place. And so when he approached me with the idea of being the director of City of Refuge, it was just a win-win situation all the way around. And that's what we're doing. We're helping people today with that.
So you've been in existence basically for 3 years.
3 years, September 17th.
And you were telling me what a tough summer, or at least a vigorous summer that was right before you opened.
Yes, it was interesting. The school, Southwest Local School District, they partnered with us and gave us the old Heuven Elementary School. And if you recall, in the old schools, there's no air conditioning. So we started the 1st of July cleaning, and what I thought might be a few weeks ended up being a few months. And it was, I think, one of the hottest summers, 104 degrees and with humidity several of those days. But we had an amazing team of men and women who jumped in. They helped clean, they helped prepare, they built, they tore down, and got it ready to be opened on September 17th.
Well, that brings up another issue. Tell us about some of the volunteers.
Okay, we have amazing volunteers. We've had volunteers that have volunteered anywhere from 20 to 25 hours a week to 1 hour once a month. But the people that come and serve there, they do it with all their heart, and they come from many different churches. They come from backgrounds like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, United Way, so it's not just church volunteers. And there's one girl in particular that I'm thinking of. The first time I met her, she was scrubbing floors. The second time I met her, I was in desperate need of a photographer. And she just went from saying, I'll do whatever, to becoming our office manager. And just recently, we were able to send her off wonderfully to a full-time job for Heart House, which is another great ministry in Indiana. And so, you know, we've just watched our volunteers grow and change, but just serve with all their hearts. It's been great.
And if you've got volunteers, the volunteers are having an impact on the community. Can you give us one or two stories of people that have been impacted In fact, it's going to be hard to hold it down to just one or two.
That's what I was going to say. Just one or two, that's going to be real difficult. But I can do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, you were telling us about a young couple. In fact, they're still in process. They're not even fully through the whole process yet. I think they were married for maybe 2 or 3 years, and they're dealing with drugs and some other things. That'll give us a snapshot of what kind of things City of Refuge does.
Right. There's a young lady that works in the community, and her phone number was referred to me, so I called her, and she was just desperate. Her and her husband had been involved in drugs. She was really trying to quit, but just couldn't seem to have that happen. So we invited her to Celebrate Recovery, and that is one of the things we offer is a 12-step program that is faith-based, but it's really the relationship that you develop. So over the last several months, I've been able to connect with her and her husband and get them into some counseling, get them to connect with other people who are already recovered. And I can't say by any means they're where they want to be, but here about 3-4 months later, they're well on their way to being committed to recovery.
And you were telling me, I think their names were Johnny and Natasha?
No, that was Jenna and Wade. There's
Okay.
another couple I was sharing with you about.
No, but they have another story where they've basically been through, is that right?
Yes, yep. I have another story. You want that one?
Please do. Go ahead.
Okay. There's another story. This was a first for me that I gotten a call from a pastor asking if we could help a young lady because she was homeless with her 3 children, and she she'd had enough with her husband being involved in drugs. And so it was my first real challenge of helping somebody actually find housing, care for the kids, get them the bedding, the clothing that they needed, different food needs, as well as the emotional needs. But City of Refuge was able to step in and help her get established. She was in our recovery classes. And her husband, for about 3 months, kept trying to contact her, and she stood firm and said, I'm not going back to this way of life. And I think it was enough through her prayers, her stand, and all the support for him to say, I think I need to get it together. And he went into a 6-month recovery program and did phenomenal. And the two have been back together now over a year. And when he came out, he got plugged into City of Refuge immediately. And he's now one of our men's group leaders, amazing young man. And just really great to see a family that's getting restored.
All right, that's a fun story just to hear and just to see what's going on with somebody's life. And the volunteers, how many people volunteer at City of Refuge at any given time?
Well, the most volunteers we've ever had on one day in the building was 139. That's back in the cleaning days. Typically, volunteers run anywhere from 5 to maybe 30 at any given time for an event we have going on.
Okay. And you've actually got a volunteer, I guess you could say, awareness or appreciation banquet coming up in October. This is your 3rd one, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us just a little bit about what goes on there.
Okay, well, we do 2 extra volunteer appreciations throughout the year because they are volunteers and we want them to know they're valued. So we do family picnics, we've done a pool party, different things. But what you're referring to, Jack, is our fall gala. And we call it a gala because it is a combination of fundraising, but it's also a volunteer recognition. And this year, our guest speaker's name is Brack Strong. He's a local Cincinnati gentleman. Excited to meet him. He's 80 years old, and he has been doing recovery for over 30 years. He's been a school teacher, just a great heart. And so we want to honor our volunteers. We want to show the community how we want to partner and work together it takes money to do anything. And so we want to work together to honor our volunteers as well as raise money and awareness in the community.
I know Coldwell Banker West Shell has been delighted to support you for, I guess this is going on the 2nd year or 3rd year of support, but there are other businesses who also partner with your organization. You've got a change coming up, and that change, talking about emotions, there's probably a lot of emotion going on with moving from where you started to where you're going to be. Tell us a little about that.
Well, a couple things. You know, if you've been raised in a house or you've raised your children in a house, when you move, there's emotions. You've got the marks on the wall, how your kids have grown up, and different markings that make you reminisce. And so it was very emotional to move from a 26,000 square foot building to where we are now. Don't get me wrong, we're really excited about the move, but there's so many memories at the old building. And the move has been going a little slower than anticipated, but I think that's been well served because through the transition, we're offering our recovery classes, our food pantry is open and running, and it's given us time to really transition. And as far as the transition goes, we haven't slowed down in serving people. That's been one great thing, and Coldwell Bankers has been there for us all along the way. I've been talking with Vicki recently on how we're going to partner to do Christmas, but you guys have done much more than Christmas. You've helped us with food drives, you've helped us with clothing, finances, Christmas gifts for children in the community that are less fortunate. So you've been an amazing part of what we do down there. And there's other businesses also just like that. We can't do it alone. You can't take even 139 volunteers and try to reach out to a community. It takes a lot of people capturing the vision, working together, and everybody just taking a part, and then the job gets done.
Well, you're going to be done with this move sometime soon, even though it probably doesn't look like it right now.
Yeah.
Once you're finished with your move, what do you see going forward for City of Refuge?
Okay, what I see going forward are great things. The first thing is our food pantry. Food is a basic need of everybody, so when people come into the door, they can be suffering from any hurt, habit, or hang-up. And our food pantry is set up so wonderfully that we take people around and actually shop. And so it gives us time to get to know them and talk to them. So we're going to continue with the food pantry. And our recovery classes are going to increase from what they are now to an additional night and a daytime class. We also, again, because of partnering with the community, we offer HEAP, which is a heat and electric assistance program. We've hooked up with the Veterans Society and offer services there. And we're also working with the schools to do some things for our children over Christmas. We always have a Thanksgiving outreach, so we're going to be busy.
You know, one thing that I've been impressed by that you're involved with, I believe it's in May or June of each year, where you have your 5K run, but you honored some special veterans and soldiers this past year.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, every year for the last 8 years, we've done a 5K run, which we call Operation Outreach. And City of Refuge has partnered with different military families or organizations to split the funds that have been raised. And the reason we do this is, again, we look beyond just the immediate needs of what's going on, but the fact that we live in a free country because there are men and women, and we're men and women, that have fought to keep us free. And there's many families that are struggling. They've either lost a loved one comes home, you know, with a missing arm, and they're struggling as well. So our goal is to find a family that we can bless and partner with to help just give them a leg up.
I think that gives us kind of an idea of just the heart behind this ministry, and there's so much that we haven't talked about that you're involved with. But I would invite you, viewers, to get to know a little bit more about City of Refuge, and if they want to find out more about City of Refuge, how would they contact you?
Well, the best way right now is by telephone. It's 513-353-5552. That's 353-5552. And the reason it's best to contact us by phone right now is we're in the process of changing our website. And so I wouldn't want to give anybody a wrong website and then they can't find us. We're also on Facebook. You can locate us there. And I can even give my email address right now if that helps.
Sure.
Okay. It's r.moore, M-O-O-R-E, at mycfm.org.
Thanks, Roseanne. It's been a real delight to have you with us today, and I hope this has been both entertaining and encouraging for those of you who have viewed this video. And think about it. See what you can do to get involved with the City of Refuge. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks.